So today I'm here to do something which I've never done before. As you know, I believe that there is so much variety and it's all personal preference when it comes to high-end gear that I've never said that anything is universally the best or that if you were to get it, you would absolutely most likely notice a massive difference. I've never said that about any product until now. In fact, this product is so good and I think it's going to be so universally impressive to everybody who tries it that I'm actually awarding it my first ever Greek Audio Geek Golden Olive Oil Award. Stay tuned and I'll tell you about it. So for those of you who've been following my channel over the years, you know that I'm a big believer in, yeah, measurements are fine, but I don't really care about measurements. I don't care about what a manufacturer claims or doesn't claim. I don't care about their marketing brochures. I only care about one thing, and that is the sound and how does it perform in my system, in my room, to my ears. And I'll even just go so far as to say that one of the reasons why I don't cover measurements is A, because there's no universally accepted way to measure everything, that you can use the same equipment in a different way and you're going to get different measurements. So it really doesn't tell you much of anything. And B, I always picture these people who are so obsessed with measurements as having friends over to their house and turning on their system that they bought based just solely on measurements and them turning it on for their friends to try and impress their friends and their friends saying, that sounds horrible. And the person saying, oh yeah, but it measures really well. What's my point? My point is at the end of the day, it only matters what we hear, what you hear in your system to your ear. It doesn't matter what I think. I'm here sharing my personal audio journey with me. So that brings me to today's Golden Olive Oil Award. Guys, you know I'm a tweaker. I tweak all sorts of audio. I have tried under my gear and under my speakers. I've tried floor sliders. I've tried little pieces of rubber. I've tried the stack audio, which I did a video on, which by the way, for $250 is an excellent product. I've tried the ISO acoustics. In my system, it actually made my system sound worse. I know there's a lot of people that love it. Perfect example of what I mean by you need to try it in your system. RevoPods and Sound Chaos, both excellent products. But all these products perform differently, sound differently. It's going to be based on the type of shells that you have. Do you have wood? Do you have a composite shelf? Is it on a piece of granite slab? All those things, along with your ears, are going to affect how they perform and what you hear and whether you like it or not. For instance, products with a rubber ring are going to sound very different than those without. So it's personal preference. Same with these Tobian speakers. I think they're amazing. They're easily among the best speakers I've ever heard at any price in my life. But in my review, I did not tell you that you need to go buy them or you're going to love them because it's personal preference. But a product came along recently that I tried that I think changes that, and I can comfortably say and recommend you need to try it if you're looking for a product like this, because I can't imagine it would be anything less than spectacular. And that is for feet, speaker, or let me try that correctly, speaker, feet, and speaker isolation. Specifically, the Wellfloat Delta feet. Now, I do have experience with Wellfloat. I've got their platforms under some of my gear. Excellent stuff. The Deltas, they have the Deltas and the Delta Extreme. The Delta Extreme is more than twice the price. It's going to look different than this. I went with the standard Deltas only because, guys, it's a matter of money, okay? So these come in a variety of different ways. You can have it this way, which is just the ring. You can put a spike or a non-spike. You can get it with a little bit taller spiked, a hole for your spiked thing, and you notice it's going to bring it just below these little black things on the side. Or you can go and it's still in the wrapping. This is a taller one, raises above them. It's got no hole for a spike. Because of the way that the Tobians are set up, They're actually at an angle, so they're almost always wanting to slide a little bit. So I used, and it's also only 3 points of contact on the Tobians. I went with this version, and I've got the little slider skid plates sitting in each one, and I've got the third back foot on that back, resting on top of here. I will tell you this, that when it comes to setup, you want to be careful. Like, I'm on a tile floor, so they slide easily in a good way. But what I do is, when I move the speaker, I just put my hand under the speaker and lift the speaker just 1/8 of an inch to make sure I reset this, because this kind of moves back and forth. And what I want to do is I want to reset it to make sure that the pressure is evenly downward and not pushing off to the side, because that's going to limit how this moves and how it performs. Okay, see how that moves? So I don't want it already like this. I want it somewhat centered. So all I do is just lift the speaker up a titch every time I move it, reset this into the center, and let it do its thing. The Wellfloat deltas, I think, are somewhere, if memory serves me correct, about $400 a foot. So you're looking at in a set of 3, you're looking at $1,200. A set of 4, you're looking at $1,600. It's somewhere around that. But so is other top tier stuff. Other top tier stuff is going to run you, I think the RevelPods are $1,400 or $1,500 for a set of 4. The Sound Chaos, I think, is somewhere in the $1,200 range for a set of 4. So you're right in that ballpark. But here's the thing, guys. Why have I awarded the Wellfloat the Greek Audio Geek Golden Olive Oil Award? They so far outperformed my wildest expectations. They were so spectacular in the difference that they made. It was so universal, regardless of speaker that I tried it on. And you can also put these under your gear. I'm going to be doing a different video where I try and put them under my gear. And it was such a non-personal preference in terms of how it adjusted the sound. So what do I mean by that? When you get into the rubber stuff, it can soften the sound a little bit. It can lower the transient attacks while giving you more spacious sound. The RevelPods are excellent, but sometimes, depending upon the equipment and what they're on, it can almost tilt the high frequencies a little bit. The Wellfloats platforms, not quite as much air as the RevelPod feet, but it's a little bit more neutral in terms of the high frequency. So what I'm saying is all those are personal preference, because they all tweak the sound to some degree. The Wellfloat, as far as I could tell, and I've got about 12 hours to 14 hours of experimenting time with these, exhibit 0 negatives. They don't alter the sound. They don't tilt it up. It is unbelievable in terms of the spaciousness, the openness, and even in the bass performance. I never realized how bloated the bass was until I put the Wellfloats on, even compared to other products. And that's the thing that really is amazing about the Wellfloats, is that even when I compare them to other expensive products, in my system, on my setup, in my room, they are clearly superior. And I've never said that about any product, because it is such personal preference. There is a song, there's a live version on the Live at the Red Rocks, To Kill a Word. And I was astonished when I played that song with the Wellfloat, because I could now hear the tambourine actually kind of going back and forth. It had a more delicacy and delicate sound to it in terms of how it shimmered. I could hear the audience. In fact, there's one point where somebody whistles in the audience in the beginning. It actually startled me. It was so much clearer. It also enables you to then really dial in your speakers to that nth degree, because now you can so clearly hear the differences. Above and Beyond, the Live at Hollywood Bowl version, the song I always go back to, Liquid Love. When they have the 2 drums going in the middle of the song, they actually had more impact. They had much more delineation and clarity to it. The Tobians clearly brought that to the next level compared to the other speakers I've listened to, but the Wellfloats brought it an additional step. It is not a subtle difference in terms of the amount of air, the ease of the sound, the impact. I've had other products that affect the mid and high frequencies. I have not had other products that, to the degree of the Wellfloat, benefit all regions, even the bass, even the timing. It is just a massive step forward in every positive way, and I could detect zero negatives. I could detect no negatives using the Wellfloat. Other than if you are tweaking your speakers, I recommend you kind of lifting up just a titch and resetting how they sit on the Wellfloat movable platform itself. Guys, I could go on and on in terms of the sound difference, and it's all going to come back to the same theme. It's a product that I could detect nothing negative that could offend or anybody could dislike. It was nothing but positives. It was significantly better than any other product I've heard on these and the other speakers that I have to try, and at a price point that's not that much more expensive. Now guys, look, let's be honest. If you're running a Sony receiver and you're running $1,200 speakers, this is not the product for you. I would actually recommend that you look into something, budget-wise, when we look at comparative spending, something like a Stack Audio. You're gonna get benefit at a much lower price point. But for the people who have very high resolution systems, notice I did not say expensive. You don't need to spend 9 figures or 7 figures on a system to get very high resolution. You need to pick the right components, you need to get system synergy, and you need to dial it in to the room. For those people, these Wellfloat Deltas are absolutely a no-brainer. And I am as close to I can get to telling you to just run out and buy them. I can't imagine you having any negatives whatsoever, and I can't imagine you being anything less than totally amazed at the performance on them. So that's why I have given them my first ever Greek Audio Geek Golden Olive Oil Award. I've never had a product in any product category where I felt comfortable saying, you need this. It is absolutely top tip in terms of performance in its category. The Wellfloat Deltas are such a product. Which leaves me with the following question. Wink, wink, Wellfloat, if you're listening, I wonder what the Delta Extremes would sound like compared to the Deltas. Guys, thanks for watching. I've got some really exciting products coming. We're going to be having more videos coming out, and the Greek is going to go ahead and tell you all about it. So I want to leave this with a new hashtag, and that is hashtag the Greek says do the tweak. I'm telling you, this tweak on your system, if you're really into the best you can get out of it, is a no-brainer. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one. I'm the Greek Audio Geek, and I approve of this message. Oppa!